we are going to move on. We have another live in-studio guest with us. Welcome, Mr. Freddy Garmo from Garmo and Garmo, a law firm out in East County.
Yes. Hi, Barry. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for having me.
Great. So tell us a little bit about Garmo and Garmo. What type of law do you practice?
Garmo and Garmo is a 6-attorney law firm in East County with 3 support staff. Over the years, we've done really all sorts of different things from business and real estate transactions to personal injury to family law, done some criminal defense work. However, in the last several years specifically, I've kind of focused my practice more on the real estate business, some of the estate and business and tax planning aspects.
So tell me, what do you, when you say you focus on real estate, how do you help people in real estate?
I am also a broker as well as a real estate attorney, so I wear 2 hats, and I'm careful on what hat that I'm wearing. But let's talk law for now. We're not talking real estate. As an attorney, when I represent real estate clients, typically it's a commercial real estate client who is buying or selling a piece of real estate. They don't know really what's important. They don't know how to draft the initial agreement. So if I'm representing the seller, obviously I'm going to represent the seller, protect the seller, make sure nothing comes back to him after the closing, all sorts of legal documents, all sorts of due diligence documents, all sorts of disclosures. So it's more than what people think. A lot of folks think, I have a broker, I have an agent, I'm protected, I'm done. But, unfortunately, once the deal closes, the broker earns the commission, that broker is done with you for a while.
Right. What are some of the issues that somebody could get into if they don't have a good attorney like you to help them?
Well, again, on the seller side, a lot of times I've seen is, you fail to disclose the condition of the property. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I'm going to sue you. Mm-hmm. So non-disclosure is a big, big issue. Another issue is when sometimes seller carry back some money called seller financing. Much of the times the buyer will often renegotiate that note for some ridiculous allegation. So I always advise my sellers never carry a note. Make sure you over-disclose. Make sure you have a solid purchase agreement at the beginning of this escrow process. And, let somebody hold your hand. Although you have an agent or a broker, it's not a bad idea to get a lawyer as well, too.
Yeah. How often do you operate as the real estate broker versus the real estate attorney?
I'll do a couple of deals a year for my really good clients, but 90% of what I do is as a lawyer, not as a broker.
Okay. So, knowing the background with some of the other firms that you're affiliated with, I would guess that you're probably pretty strong with some of the retirement plan funded real estate programs, self-directed IRAs and,
Sure.
and 401ks and what have you. So maybe you can talk just for a minute about, why would somebody use their retirement plan for real estate, or not necessarily why, how would they use their real estate or their retirement plan for real estate?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, as a real estate attorney, as a real estate broker, I love real estate. I understand real estate. If you look at the last, 500 years, real estate has always gone up. Luckily for us, we've recovered from the 06, 07, bottom. I think we're kind of close to where we were 10 years ago.
Right.
So, real estate is a safe investment vehicle. A lot of my clients enjoy real estate more than money under management because it's tangible. They can drive by it. They get a check every month. There's a deed that they're holding in their hands. So it's a philosophy. It's a comfort level. But again, most folks would say, diversify, include real estate as part of any other investment vehicle. And retirement planning is one of those things where you can allocate part of it onto the classification of real estate.
Interesting. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD. Email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com or find our page on Facebook. Want to hear from you? I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with Andrea Kay, Urban Miaris, and our guest is Freddy Garmo from Garmo and Garmo Attorneys at Law. So most people don't realize that they can use their retirement plan for real estate, which they can use it for mortgages, for financing. There's some tricks to that, which is why you need a good law firm out there. But it's a very popular topic that's very misunderstood. Would you agree?
Yes, and definitely. And just kind of riding on Urban's coattails earlier about businesses, one of the things that we do is also businesses. And some of the hot legal topics that we see now, that we've seen, a lot of it is involving businesses. a lot of the state wage and hour claims, a lot of folks saying, you didn't pay me overtime, or you didn't pay me for a lunch break, or I didn't take my break in between my shift and so forth. So you see a lot of those claims by employees against employers. So, I caution employers to be very careful about their record keeping. Give out the pay stubs, keep track of people's hours, hire somebody to help you with the payroll if needed to be, because this is a hot topic, and a lot of employers are paying big money to plaintiffs and their attorneys for these wage and hour violations.
Does it also include having people being improperly classified in terms of, salary versus hourly?
That, and also the biggest thing now is W-2 versus 1099 employees. A lot of folks think that, they can get away by giving an employee a 1099 because they're classified as an independent contractor versus a W-2 as an employee. So the IRS has their own set of rules. There's a different guidelines and classifications. But again, employers, especially big employers with deep pockets, are big targets.
Yeah. And isn't that where Uber got into trouble? Wasn't that the big lawsuit because they were putting everybody on 1099?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And what the IRS does is they go back and they reclassify them as employees, and they make the employer pay all these.
It's not only the IRS. You got to do each state's self-employment regulations and rules on who's the employer and who's the employee.
Yeah, and California Franchise Tax Board is the last people I want to go to battle with.
But one of the things that I tell people when you're, especially with real estate, that always have an attorney with you, because chances are, in most cases, the attorney will be around much longer than the real estate person you've bought or sold a home from.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So, I think focusing on real estate and what you talk about there is of great value. As a matter of fact, I've got a client out right in your neighborhood there that I want to introduce you to that could use your help.
Thank you.
So, besides the real estate and other things, what other type of cases, what other type of work have you done over the years that really stands out?
Again, let's focus on hot topics nowadays. What I see a lot of now is what they call trust and probate litigation. Mm-hmm. This is where folks, pass on and they leave assets to their children or other heirs, and these folks can't get along. So end up in litigation. They come to us. So it's really, really important to have a clear set of instructions, what we call an estate plan, that clearly describes everybody's duties and responsibilities. Excuse me. And the last thing you want to leave behind is a mess for your children. So we see this over and over and over. And a lot of our practice now is really in this trust and probate litigation. And litigation really means that the folks can't get along. They can't resolve it. They end up going to a lawyer. Lawyer files a lawsuit. They serve that lawsuit, and that battle begins.
Yeah. Well, that's I believe heavily in putting the right professional in the right place. And, when you bring an attorney in, you not only have somebody that's guiding you to do it the right way, but you also have somebody that stands behind it, to make sure that it's been done right in case there's, further arguments down the line.
Sure. And even if the family, even if it's not a situation where the family is in dispute amongst themselves, still there's tax implications and hardship financially that can be brought down on your heirs by not having your plan done properly.
For sure. And the last couple of things I want to say, Barry, is, I think you and I talked earlier about, why, what would you consider in hiring a lawyer? And why would you go to this firm versus that firm?
Right.
What I tell my clients is, number one, the initial consultation is always free. There's no obligation. So ask me whatever you want. There's no obligation. Second thing is, work with somebody that you enjoy, somebody that you like, and vice versa. It has to be a comfortable attorney-client relationship. So if you don't feel right or the attorney doesn't feel right, just walk away. There are a lot of good lawyers in town. That relationship to me is extremely important. The second thing is, have a clear scope of representation. The first question I ask my clients, why are you here? What are your goals? And hopefully a good lawyer will lead you down that right path to get you the shortest route, least expensive route to achieve your goals.
Right.
Sometimes lawyers might take you on a different path. And 3-6 months later say, you know what, that didn't work. Let's start over here now.
Yeah. It's interesting because you do family law as well, right?
We do some family law, yes.
Well, discuss that for just a minute before we have to finish up here. But, in family law, the attitude out there is the attorney is out there, just for the next hour, okay, to bill for the next hour. Yet, you do so many different things. I think that's a great idea in working with a firm like yours that's more client-focused.
Sure. I appreciate that, Barry. The challenge with family law cases and all really litigation cases is there's a process that we call discovery in the middle of this ugly legal battle,
right,
where the parties exchange information. So the real quick outline is plaintiff files a lawsuit and serves it. Defendant has a short time to respond. Once they respond, then that process of discovery begins. So discovery is really a process that can take 6 to 12 months of exchanging information, documents, depositions. So that's where the client burns most of his money, is through that process. So if you can reduce that process, if you can go to early mediation, if you can try to resolve the case before you spend too much money, right, that's really the best service to the client.
Great. Hey, I appreciate it. Before we go, tell our listeners how they find out more about Garmo and Garmo.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Barry. Our website is garmolaw.com. That's GARMO law.com. You can reach us also at 619-441-2500, and we'll be happy to help in any way we can.
Great. Well, we look forward to getting more information and following up with you over the course of time. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Great. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at Close Up SD or just find our page on Facebook. You can always email me at Barry@closeupsandiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.